Hey guys, it's Caleb Goldner from Comics Alliance. This week for our toy review, we're going to be looking at Bandai's SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Kabuto. He is the Kamen Rider from the 2006 to 2007 series. It was the 35th anniversary of the Kamen Rider, I guess you'd say, franchise. And he is a beetle-themed kind of hard exoskeleton, insect, and scorpion themed show. We're going to go ahead and open this dude up and see what's inside. Actually, before I open it up, something interesting about this figure, he is kind of a new and improved version of a previously released Figuarts, and he has a new package to kind of go with the new body sculpt and articulation set. Most of the Figuarts, especially the Kamen Riders, have a package that's kind of similar to this Kamen Rider Decade toy. They have a big window on the front, they're pretty wide, and they're more flat. And also on the back, there's kind of a standard image set. And so the design and the orientation of the packaging is quite a bit different. This new Kabuto figure, it's kind of more like a prestige figure, similar to, I guess, Sideshow Collectibles, like their 6th scale figures kind of have a similar design, although they have window boxes which you can open to see the toy inside. This is pretty much like, I guess an iPhone box would be my closest comparison. Just for one more packaging comparison, we'll look at its packaging compared to Kamen Rider Wizards Figuarts. It has kind of a boxier package like Kabuto, only it still has the window, so you can see everything inside. Now let's open this guy up and see what he's working with. I was surprised there's only 2 small strips of clear tape holding this box together, which is really actually kind of nice. Easy to open. So let's see. Yeah, this is different. This is new. I've got all kinds of paper in here. We have this guy, which unfolds into instructions. This figure has pretty simple instructions. There are its multiple hand parts, and its transformation belt, and its bladed weapon that transforms also into a ranged weapon, the gun. You can see how this is put into action. And this is neat. There is a concept book which I guess takes you through the design of the figure. I can't read Japanese, so I'm not sure what the copy says, but I imagine it's pretty cool. I think this shows the sculpt compared to the final figure. This kind of concept art drawings, that's neat. Shows how the, I guess it's a knee joint, was put together along with some artist notes. And some more copy here. So this is cool. Typically I would just toss my action figure packaging, but this is something that I know I'm going to want to keep around to look at later, and other Figuarts collectors are probably going to be super into. Now let's look at the figure. He's kind of packaged like, I guess, an iPhone again. That's the closest comparison. He's stacked on top with his accessories here. He's held in place by this tray, and you can just dump him out. That's nice. I know a lot of Western figures, and even some Japanese figures, collectible ones anyway, they're kind of pinned into a pose and have a bunch of cables cut off like Transformers and things like that. So it's actually really nice to just be able to dump the figure out and it's ready to go. Let's go ahead and look at the accessories before we get too far into that part. There's his hands and his weapons. The weapons don't transform between modes. Sometimes the more 5 to 6 inch tall kid-friendly Kamen Rider toys will have those kinds of features. I was kind of hoping that this Figuarts would do something similar while I was looking at the included instructions, just because it saves you on storage and having to track down stuff. But to get the sculpts just right, it looks like they have 2 different pieces altogether. I'm going to go ahead and just dump these out. And this is another neat, I guess, advancement for the line. There is a hand rack. It's similar to, and I don't have one on hand, but like Good Smile Company and Max Factory's Figma action figures have something similar. It's a piece with like a peg, and you can pop the hands in to keep them organized. This is a super welcome addition for me. I've actually never had a good storage solution for these hands. Most of my hands just go in like a coffee mug or something like that, and eventually I throw them into a plastic bag. This will help keep Kabuto's hands anyway organized, and if they keep up this accessory, I can see a lot of collectors being pleased. That way they don't have to either lose hands or feel like they're just tossing them all into a big mess every time they store them. And especially it's important because he comes with so many hands. He has, looks like 9 total. But if you like being messy, oh, that's cool too. You can break these apart and pop them back together. They're modular. So presumably collectors will be able to mix and match these as more are released. Looking at the toy itself, there's been a number of changes from previous Figuarts releases, specifically the Kamen Riders. Cyclone Joker as an example. One of the most immediate differences is the way the new toy deals with shoulder pads. These are really tight and form-fitting, and when you bend them, they're a piece of the shoulder blade so that they can interact with the upper body better. And this is actually on kind of a ball joint, so it swivels. On this guy, it's more of just a standard flap on top of the shoulder that's built in, which makes raising a shoulder basically a no-go. You can do it a little, but then the flap rests on top of it, which is actually a little bit true to the way that actual costumes work, but it's still something that you notice. It doesn't really keep you from doing anything, but after a while it's aesthetically noticeable. On this guy, you can lift the arms straight up, and it's just a little bit easier. This character does have the advantage of having smaller shoulder pads for sure, but it's still just dealt with slightly differently on the toy, and that's cool to see. Another big difference is the way that the ab crunch joint works. The plates on his armor, on his chest, actually kind of slide around a little bit. You can see here on the pecs, and then the torso has like a little bit of a wiggle to it. So he still has an ab crunch, but these corresponding pieces of armor adjust to all the other articulation. I don't know if you can see that. So that's really neat. That's similar to how the costumes on the show work, and how the armor responds to the costume actor's movements. Another cool thing is this figure's overall build is supposed to reflect the build of the character as they're seen on TV. He's the same height as the other Kamen Riders. He's still in scale. He doesn't look like he doesn't fit in with the line. but the details and the way the articulation's presented here is supposedly more accurate than the first version of the character that was in the Figuarts line. Actually, if you get online, you want to just double check and make sure you're looking at the correct figure. Usually they'll have dates attached to the figure releases, so that's one way of being able to tell. But also, if you look at the chest cavity on both figures, it's pretty noticeably different on the new version. For better or worse, it's kind of a matter of preference. I think the new guy looks a little bit better, although this one starts out at closer to $50 and the original version is closer to like 40 or 45 depending on where you shop. So moving on, we will look at another big change for the line, which is the way that the hands are treated, like the articulation on the hands and the way they're swapped in and out. On the old ones, we'll get double back here, the hands are attached to a ball joint that's a peg that runs into the toy. So basically the hand itself is just a hand and you pop it onto this joint. And it's not always my favorite part of dealing with the Figuarts line. Like, I can't even do it without concentrating right now. But these guys, they are more in line with some other toy lines from Japan and even America, like Hasbro's new Spider-Man line has swappable hands that work on this principle. The peg is attached to the wrist inside the hand, and that pops in to the arm. There's a designated hole. To me, that's a lot easier. I don't know if it will stand kind of a different test of time as far as durability goes. So far, I've swapped out a couple hands without any problem. We'll just show you again. Got a hand prepared here with his gun attached, and you can just pop it right in, and it's a little looser, but it's not loose. It's still a firm, it's got some bite to the articulation, and it's easy to swivel without being weighed down and jiggling by itself. I'll just give you a look at the articulation on the legs here real quick. Nothing on this new sculpt, they haven't omitted any articulation. And actually this figure has a unique transformation belt that moves around, which not every Kamen Rider Figuarts has, which is neat. But so far, seems like an improvement over at least some of the technology on the previous Kamen Rider Figuarts. It'll be interesting to see how this new approach is integrated into any other re-released characters or any new characters in lines moving forward. Pretty sure that the current Kamen Rider show, Kamen Rider Gaim, all those Figuarts are going to go by the principles of the previous lines as far as how they're articulated, but it'll be neat to see if they re-release figures or move forward with this kind of design, not just on the Kamen Rider toys, but on the Super Sentai toys or any of the other tokusatsu shows that are in the line. Overall, I'm really impressed with this figure. I like the articulation a lot. I like the paint apps are always good. If you're interested in it, it's currently on Amazon, like I said, for about $50, and we'll have a link there on the website where you can check it out. Tune in next time. We'll be looking at some more action figures. I've been Caleb Gollner. Thanks for watching.